Mr. Misawi, thank you very much once again for your time. And the reason I actually approached you once again, there are few, the media is again actually spinning this whole situation that this interview with you on the first place, it was a planted one. Please do tell the nation, do tell the world and the people who are actually the champions of journalism and whatever they're saying in back home. Have we ever met before, sir?
We have not.
We have never met before.
No.
Do you believe that this this piece of information which you shared with me has been planted to me to ask you these questions?
No. I'm an experienced interviewer, and I have interviewed with the media for the better part of 30 years. I've fought corruption in many countries. Mexico was a huge scandal. Iran is a huge scandal. I've been approached by South Africa, by Nigeria, many other. So I know all about the press, and I found that your interview was imbued with remarkable integrity. I have to congratulate you on that.
Thank you very much, sir. Now coming back to the business, as you promised to the nation of the Pakistan and the people of Pakistan that you're going to give us some names. So please give us some names so we can see the real faces of these people.
Look, in the proceedings before Sir Anthony Evans, several names came up. Sherpa I gave you yesterday, yes? Amr Lodi, Malia Lodi's brother, who was Mr. Musharraf's ambassador to the US, okay? The NAB asked that they be removed from the list. Why? Ask your question. I invite the people of Pakistan to ask questions about the person is the ambassador of Pakistan, has engaged in efforts at getting commissions on submarine deals and things like this. You know, the brother is pulling, these are just typical examples. I am very sorry that this is the oligarchy that rules the people of Pakistan. When I met General when I met General Hafiz, when he said, "Here's a check for £500,000, go," and I said, "General, let me remind you, we have an obligation to the people of Pakistan." He said, "Well, you have a contract with NAB." I said, "My real contract is with the people of Pakistan. The people of Pakistan are the people who hired me. They're the same people who hired you. Shame on you. Frankly, shame on you that you behave like this. You are only moving to sack Broadsheet and IAR because we've come so close to money. You say we have not performed. We'll see in court." He said, "Oh, come on, you're not going to go to court." Well, we did. And you know what? The judge agreed with us that we performed. And in the final concluding comment of the judge, he says, "The government of Pakistan, please, through your camera, I insist that this message goes to the people of Pakistan." The judge, Sir Anthony Evans, said the government of Pakistan sacked Broadsheet effectively because Broadsheet was too effective. You know, it said the government of Pakistan and its National Accountability Bureau engaged in a conspiracy to defraud Broadsheet. A conspiracy, and they breached the contract. They engaged in a conspiracy to defraud Broadsheet. Now I see every faction in Pakistan is spinning this thing as though Broadsheet didn't perform. I see this fool who is passing himself as a human rights minister, this Shahzad Akbar, spinning it as though I came and bought the company when it was in bank. I was involved. The very first check that was put into Broadsheet and to International Asset Recovery was money that I put up 20 years ago. If Shahzad Akbar has not done his research, then he's negligent. Or if he's done his research and has come to the conclusion he shouldn't reveal that to the people of Pakistan, then he's a liar. If for both accounts, he should be sacked forthwith if Imran Khan has any claim to be a credible government fighting corruption. The very first effort of meeting the media's questions is they spin a lie like this. Not that the other side are much better, but you know, the other side, I've just seen that Sharif's son has come up with some nonsense. But the reality is, you keep asking for names. I've just given you some names, and the court heard other names as well. The truth is, Broadsheet did its work, and the reason why the court awarded it money was because it had done its work. Now, we claimed hundreds of millions of dollars because we claimed we'd found billions, and they have sabotaged our efforts in order to get to them. That's the real story that you should be putting across.
let me update you what happened today. The Inter-Ministerial Committee formed to probe the broadsheet scandal, Shibli Faraz, and they're going to probe into this, and obviously they're going to give their what they believe, what should be done in this regard. Okay, so for the people, so it was Maliha Lodi's brother, right?
What they should do with this is they should read the judgment of Sir Anthony. They should draw the conclusion. Why is the Court of Appeal rejected? They laughed them out of court. Why? It's there. It's in black and white in front of them. They don't need a committee to investigate this. They should just give me a call and I'll tell them what happened. I'd repeat what the judge said. We were too effective. We were getting close to the money of the kith and kin of the crooks who've been running Pakistan for too long, and that's why we were sacked. The
And
best
that was,
gift to the Pakistan.
and the name is Maliha Lodi's brother, did you say?
That's right. Maliha Lodi's. It was, I don't make this up, it was said in the evidence to Sir Anthony Evans.
And in this particular, is there any other name you can share with us at this point, sir?
Because this was leaked, I talk about it, but because the matter is confidential, I challenge through your camera, Irfan, I challenge the government of Pakistan to open up the judgment of Sir Anthony Evans. These are confidential, but I herewith give authority from my side to the government of Pakistan to open up the judgment of Sir Anthony Evans. It will be damning. If there is any claim to credibility by Imran Khan that what he's doing is fighting corruption, I challenge him to put the judgment of Sir Anthony Evans before the people of Pakistan. If he does that, I'll begin to think he has beginning to get some credibility as a fighter of corruption. Until such time, all I've seen is spin from them. Cabinet committees, all this sort of thing. Give me a break, for goodness sake.
So, Mr. Bisavi, who approached you from Musharraf to take Maliha Lodi's brother out from that list?
Nobody approached me. It was formally put to us by NAB.
So NAB formally asked you back in 2003 or 2 or 1?
Look at the documents. Look at the documents. Challenge them. Get your television to ask them, what's the story about Lodi? And see what they say. And if they don't, just say, show us the documents you put in front. Show us the transcript of what happened in front of Sir Anthony Evans. I challenge the government of Pakistan to open the judgment of Sir Anthony Evans so that the people of Pakistan can read it. If the people of Pakistan read it, all this nonsense and spin that Shahzad and Nawaz Sharif's son and all these people, it'll just be swept away. Here's a court judgment where thousands of hours were spent by lawyers and the judge reading thousands of pages of evidence, and he came to a damning conclusion, a conclusion I have never in my legal history ever seen. A judge saying a government conspired with persons known and unknown to defraud the company that it had hired to go after stolen money. What kind of a government does it take to steal from the people it's hired to go and find stolen money? You tell me that. Imran Khan, my challenge to you is that if you're telling the people of Pakistan, setting up these fancy naming committees and all this sort of thing, look, stop fooling around. Publish the judgment of Sir Anthony Evans. And then I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Right. And just give us a little bit more detail. I know you have said that, read the papers and challenge them. What exactly happened? They just came to you and said, just remove the name of this gentleman from the list. And do you have suspicions at that point? Obviously, anybody can have that, why they're removing their name. And then he was made an ambassador later. Is that right?
Yeah, she was the ambassador.
She was an ambassador, right?
She was Amer is the brother of the ambassador at the time in the United States. So
what sort of a corruption you believe that there was something, or the assets were not matching their the income? That's what was on the plate for you to investigate. So you have the greater amount of suspicions around this thing.
Well, what do you think? I mean, if you're going to investigate somebody and you're told don't investigate them, what do you think? You tell me what you think.
Have you been approached by these people directly to you?
No, nobody approached me because they know that I don't take bribes. I don't give bribes. And if they approach me, I will go to the press, or I'll go to the authorities, or I will immediately write and alert the relevant authorities. And don't give me this spin about why didn't I alert the authorities about Anjum Dar I alerted the government of Pakistan through our lawyers, and I alerted our lawyers. And they seem to have conveniently forgotten about that. They say, why didn't you go to the authorities about this man who came to take commission on a new contract? It's a complete pack of lies. I did report it immediately. Within the hour, we reported it to the government of Pakistan's lawyers. Big mistake. Obviously, we should have reported it to the police in Britain and other things. As it was, I did instruct my lawyers to let the National Crime Agency know about this. And I assumed that, given that they were talking, the government of Pakistan were talking at the time to the National Crime Agency, they would make that information available to them. I have no doubt that they did not. So I have no doubt the government of Pakistan did not let the British police or the National Crime Agency know the information which had passed on to them. And the reason why they didn't is obvious.
Mr. Musavi, you said in your interview with me earlier that in 2016, a huge sum of amount from Saudi Arabia was transferred to the bank, and you actually mentioned this to the government of Pakistan. And at that time, the government was Nawaz Sharif's government. So you were saying that you mentioned about something happening, and it was, and you escalated this matter to Nawaz Sharif, right?
We escalated the matter. We didn't have any dealings with Nawaz Sharif himself. We escalated it to the government. We wrote to the government and said...
In 2016, it was Nawaz Sharif's government.
This was done in 2017. We found out about this information in 2017 when the NAB had reported him to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court had thrown him out.
So that happened after that?
Yes, that happened. Nawaz was no longer the Prime Minister at that time.
And that was Shahid Khaqan Abbasi was the Prime Minister at that time?
That's correct.
And you told Shahid Khaqan Abbasi's government?
I told NAB about it, yes. We told NAB. And we told the NAB's lawyers, Alan Novery, that we had information about $1 billion. They took no action whatsoever, none whatsoever. And we put it in a formal letter. Our lawyers did put them with the entire report, and we were absolutely sure they were going to write this to let the British police know about it. Of course they didn't. And now they have the gall, they have the cheek to come and accuse me of not having gone to the police. My obligation was to let the government of Pakistan know about this. And the government of Pakistan ought to have some shame. They ought to know that we did this. It's there in black and white, right. And they did nothing about it. It's in the transcript. Amar Lodi, the brother of Malia Lodi, who was the ambassador of the government of Pakistan in Washington, D.C. And the transcript before the court of Sir Anthony Evans makes the story perfectly clear. I challenge Imran Khan's government, these pretensions that they're setting up, these high-sounding committees. Why don't you just make life easier for the people of Pakistan? Just publish the transcript and it'll all be there. Then the press will just go away and they say, we now have got the truth. But right now, this jamboree, this circus, media circus, you know, they're feeding the media circus. They can stop it by saying, here's the judgment.
Right.
I'm tempted very much if the Imran Khan government or the Sharifs continue to threaten me as they're doing, or they try to spin. This is a warning to Akbar, Shahzad Akbar. If you continue to mess around like this, I will simply publish the award. I'll publish the judgments. And then where will you all be? Will you be able to dare say Broadsheet didn't perform? So let this be a warning through your camera, Irfan Hashmi. It's a warning to the government of Pakistan. If you continue to lie, if you continue to spin, I will publish the award. I'll publish the judgment. And you'll see what an English court said about all of these claims, all this nonsense about Broadsheet didn't perform, and what the High Court, when the Pakistan government went and appealed it, they just rejected it in 2 sentences. They just said, go away. It was shorter than the Supreme Court's dismissal of Trump's application to have the election nullified. There is no merit to this, said the High Court and Sir Anthony Evans. So if they want to fight, I'm ready to fight.
Thank you very much, Mr. Musavi, for your time.